Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Tuesday, folks. 6 minutes past the top of the hour. July 13th, Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center studio. Hour number 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. It is a great day to have a great day, and that's the plan here at the Swain Event. Thank you for making the Swain Event part of your morning. Download the free Swain Event app for Android, Apple devices. View us online. You can watch us. Check us out, man. Check the facial expressions. Check the meme mug. Check Ben when somebody says something crazy and he gives you the side eye. Check out the video stream. You can do that on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Added Twitch to the family. Yesterday was the first day, so if you are a Twitcher, you can view the show all 3 hours. A lot to get to today. Ben, good morning, my man.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm real good. Ready to go.
That's good.
Got a lot to get to, man, on a Tuesday in July.
Glad to hear you're doing well, and there's a ton to get to. Yesterday was a good day for Tennessee.
Really good day, man. Really good day for Tennessee athletics. We'll talk to John Brice at 9:30 of Football Scoop. We'll talk to the man, the myth, the legend, all things college football. 9:30, John Brice, footballscoop.com. But Tennessee, man, on a little bit of a roll. Recruiting. In-state player Cam Miller locked down as he made his commitment yesterday. Does he like to be called Cam Miller or Cameron Miller?
Cam.
We're going Cam then.
From my understanding.
We'll go Cam. Cam Miller, Memphis Academy of Health Sciences receiver. 6'1", 6 foot in that ballpark, about 195 pounds. And Stargazers. You don't like this, Stargazers. He's listed as a 4-star. He's listed as a 4-star. So how about that?
I just feel so bad for all the negative people in this fan base who just make it through their day off of negativity. I just feel so bad for people who want to be negative 24/7. Feel so bad for people who want to use that negativity to get likes and retweets on social media that they didn't have the ammunition yesterday. I feel so bad for you. I hope you had a miserable day still, but I'm sorry that you didn't have anything negative to discuss yesterday on social media so that you could pop off your retweets and likes. I'm sorry. I really am.
I have a confession to make.
These are my confessions. We need an Usher line. Could you say that you have a confession to make at least once a month? And I think as soon as you say that, boom, Usher comes in. These are my confessions.
I don't think I want to roll Usher right now. The way the news I heard about how he hurt T-Pain's feelings a couple of years ago.
Ooh, I missed this.
That's all good. But I have a confession. So the last 2 receivers that we've gotten commitments from, Cam Miller and Squirrel White. Squirrel is a 3-star. Cam Miller is a 4-star. I don't see the difference, honestly. And Cam Miller didn't play football for his high school last year. I went to go look at huddle film. No 2020 because Memphis they didn't have football because of COVID.
The city schools.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have football. They canceled it. You look at Squirrel White. The kid runs a 10.62, has a Bama offer, and Tennessee is recruiting Squirrel White as if he never committed because Alabama could still come calling. But he's a 3-star. Cam Miller's a 4-star. There was a reaction, more of a negative reaction, last week when the 3-star receiver committed than yesterday when the 4-star receiver committed. But there's really not a difference. And if anything, if you want to, you could have switched to players with the stars if you wanted to. Point is, Most of y'all don't even know which one deserves a 3-star, which one deserves a 4-star. You really don't even know. Let's just be happy, and I'm happy. Let's be happy. I think most of the fans are happy that you got players that want to come to Tennessee that are good enough to play at Tennessee. And if you don't know if they're good enough to play at Tennessee, all you got to do is wait and see. But Cam Miller, I know, is a baller because my man Aaron Hayden, very high on Cam Miller. You know who Aaron Hayden is. I mean, I don't have to give you much details, right? You know, legend, NFL running back. Come on, man. But
The best running back in that family, in my opinion.
you mad at Dallin? We love you the best. We love you the most, Aaron Hayden.
Dallin, your daddy is the best solely because he came to Tennessee.
Now, Dallin, if you switch to Tennessee, then you can be the
You
best.
can be the best.
You're the best. You're the best. But now, good day for Tennessee, man. At some point, you gotta just ignore folks that want to find the bad in everything. And honestly, those are the people who speak the loudest are the folks that have the least amount of information. They speak the loudest, speak the most negative. They have the least amount of information. They're not watching huddle films. They don't have a good understanding of which schools want which player. They don't really know. They just want to, like you just said, Ben, they just want to try to say something funny to get some retweets and likes, get them jokes off, but the knowledge doesn't come with it. But Cam Miller, on Rivals, he's at 205, 247, got it listed as at 195. Which one is it, guys? So which one is it? See,
well,
this is why y'all putting all y'all faith in recruiting sites. They can't even get the weight right. Okay, so just take the stars with a grain of salt. Cam Miller did not play a season last year. Had some injuries this spring with a hamstring. So who knows what star he is? No one knows.
No.
What we do know is that Tennessee wants him. Tennessee saw enough in him to say he can be a player for us. He can be a contributor for us. He can be someone that works very well in our offense. And that's what matters. Simple as that. Simple as that. But Ben, you guys have all been all over it. It's amazing, man. It's like you guys knew already. Golly, I wouldn't have known, man. Ben, you had no clue yesterday.
None.
But give us your thoughts on him. I don't know if you talked to him or some of the other guys at VolQuest talked to him, but give us your thoughts on Cam Miller.
No, I think it signals a really significant pickup for Tennessee for many reasons. There's really three reasons that stand out to me as why Cam Miller is important. First, we'll start with the football player. He's a good football player. It's as simple as that. He is a good all-around football player, and Tennessee needs more of them, especially at the receiver position, as I'm sure you would agree. I do think Tennessee's current room has some very intriguing young prospects, guys that can develop into really nice players for Tennessee, but at the rate that this offense is going to move, you got to stockpile guys in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Miller is a Swiss Army knife, a guy that at 6'2" is probably going to play on the outside the majority of the time, but could also play in the slot. He's a guy that can take jet sweeps. He's a guy that can return kicks, return punts. I mean, he is a Swiss Army knife. He's going to be an outside receiver, but he can do a little bit of everything. And
he makes plays with the ball in his hands.
Correct.
Yeah.
You just want the ball in his hands at all times. And Brent Hubbs made a great point on our Tuesday podcast that he just put out a couple of minutes ago, so I encourage you to go check that out. But Cam Miller
at 10 o'clock.
After yes, after 10 o'clock. He's already a big dude at 6'2", 205, 195, whatever the recruiting sites say. But at the Memphis Academy, I mean, they don't have like the greatest weight room. And so what does his body look like after he gets into Tennessee's strength and conditioning program? Because, again, the Memphis Academy of Health and Sciences, they just don't have the same type of equipment that a school like Tennessee does. So I'll be really curious to see how his body fills out when he does get to campus. So I think he's a really good football player. Tennessee needs more of them. It's that simple to me. Now, the other two reasons why I think it is a significant pickup is because, one, he's from Memphis. He's an in-state kid.
Memphis.
Maine. This time last year, we were talking about how great the class of 2022 was in the state of Tennessee, how Tennessee had the opportunity to really, rack up in the state of Tennessee because there were a lot of good players, and there are, but because you fired Jeremy Pruitt, things have not gone according to plan. Ty Simpson, he's at Alabama.
Who that?
Jordan James, the running back from Oakland, he's committed to Georgia. Barryon Brown, one of the top receivers in the state. A Cam Miller, level receiver. It looks like he's trending towards Alabama. He plays there in the mid-state at Innsworth. No, at Pearl Cone, one of the two. He's trending away from Tennessee. He has a great relationship with Ty Simpson, and there's a lot of Bama talk there. So you've had guys, and those are just three of them. Those are the three main ones. And Dallin Hayden going to Ohio State. Several guys throughout the state who, because you moved on from Pruitt, you talked about this Tennessee takeover, and it hasn't gone according to plan. And, again, I don't think that's Josh Heupel's fault. It's just the circumstances of having to fire a football coach in February, a couple of those guys making early decisions, and the looming NCAA investigation. So to go out and get one of those in-state kids, a very talented in-state prospect, and he's from the city of Memphis, to me that was very important. So that's another reason I really think that this commitment is big for Tennessee. And the third one is that Cam Miller's commitment is the 6th this month. He's the 5th high school commitment for Tennessee. And then if you add in Brandon Turnage, the transfer defensive back from Alabama, that's 6 commitments for Tennessee since July 1st. And there was talk towards the end of June amongst fans, a little concern as to why Tennessee did not have more commitments in the month of June because there were so many visitors. And to some, it felt like Tennessee wasn't being all that successful with their official visits, that they didn't really have a lot of results to show for their hard work in the month of June. But now you're seeing the benefits of that big month of June pay off because, again, Cam Miller's the 5th high school kid to commit to Tennessee since July 1st. And they are prospects who visited in June. So the month of June is paying off for Tennessee, and for some that was a concern towards the end of last month. So the kid is a good football player. Got to keep him in state, and your hard work in the month of June is paying off. So I think there's several reasons why this is a big pickup for Tennessee.
You got you a good player. You got a good player that wants to be here, and if you're Tennessee, you take as many of those guys as possible, guys that you feel like can play here, and you're not going to keep all the schools away from Tennessee. That comes with time. That comes with results being had on the field. It comes with results on the field. So the more they win and the more that you continue to value relationships, because I saw some quotes from Cam Miller on, why he picked Tennessee. And what I've said Tennessee needed a head coach since 2017. I think like November, December is when Tennessee was searching for a coach. I said Tennessee needs a good football coach that's a good person that treats folks right. Being in a place like Tennessee, everything else will take care of itself. And what do you have? You got Rick Barnes is a good basketball coach that treats people right. You got Tony Vitello that's a good baseball coach that treats people right. You got the Weekleys that good coaches that treat people right. If you do that here, it'll all work out because people will appreciate you and give you the support you need to be successful. And this place is unlike any other when those things are in line. But you didn't have that the previous two coaches before Heupel. So far, Heupel is doing that. So far. And I don't want to make it seem like Heupel is not going to do that, moving forward. But I can only speak of what I see right now because things can change like we've seen in the past. But I'm giving Heupel all the credit now because that's what he's doing. And that's what's attracting guys to Tennessee, even though you have all the crap that's going on around Tennessee and you got negative recruiting, is that when people come to campus, they can see that Heupel and company, they're genuine. And the biggest sellers are the players on your football team. So you can't fake it to them.
No, and I meant to mention Josh Heupel when I was talking about Cam Miller. Josh Heupel is a big reason Cam Miller committed to Tennessee yesterday. Josh Heupel kind of personally picked up the recruitment of Cam Miller throughout the month of May and June, and that was a big reason Cam Miller picked Tennessee is because of his relationship with Josh Heupel and because of the genuineness and what all the recruits are saying, that Josh Heupel keeps it real with them, says it to their face. That's what Squirrel said. So Josh Heupel played a big role in Cam Miller's recruitment. And one more thing I want to say about Cam Miller, the kid is a great kid, and he's impossible not to root for. He is the son of a football coach. His dad is his football coach there in Memphis. I believe his dad played at Memphis when he was playing. So you spend time around Cam Miller, and then you spend 5 minutes around his dad, and you see why he is the way that he is. He's a really good kid, and I hope he has a lot of success because kids like that deserve success.
865-255-03. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Stay with us.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill or call 865-693-5400.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. As the weather heats up, so does our market, and from Johnson City to Knoxville, eager buyers are grabbing up many available properties. The chili is hot in East Tennessee, so if you are ready to buy or sell or want to talk more about our local real estate market, I'm just a phone call away. Or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Tennessee is up in the 30s now as a team. And if you look at the recruiting team rankings, and honestly, in 2021, the team rankings don't carry as much weight as they do or as they will here in 2 to 3 years. There's a group of people that see the recruiting rankings as black and white, and they're not. They're, it's super gray, just like life. There's a gray area, and for some folks, they ask the question: is it black or is it white? Does it matter? Does it matter or does it not matter? And well, where Tennessee is right now, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're trying to get players that you believe in. You have a unique system, and so what other players and other teams need is different than what we need. And that doesn't mean you don't go out and get talented football players, but you have a system that works, and taking a receiver that is a little bit slower, a little bit taller, may not be what you want to do. You rather have a smaller receiver who's a little bit faster that has a higher upside. And you see in him what maybe another coach may not see in him. But I think a lot of people sometimes get confused because you hear this stars don't matter side versus a stars do matter side, and people kind of get confused. And where it does matter is when you kind of look at the team rankings each and every year, and the teams usually in the top 10 are the teams that are competing for championships. But Tennessee's not right there right now. So we're not at that level. What we need to focus on is getting good players and keeping them on the roster, and then our development rate has to be really good. Because if you bring in a class of 25 and only 5 of them turn out to be players for you, contributors for you, I'm not just saying on offense, defense, but players for you on special teams, players for you in the 2 deep, culture builders. Like, you want that development rate to be high. And I don't know what the rate is. I don't know if schools actually have a rate like, we want 65% of our class to be players that we can look at and say, yes, they've added value to the program. I don't know that number, but your development rate has to be dang good, just as good as your eye for talent. And that's what Tennessee's been missing. So we got to retain guys, keep guys inside the program along with making sure that they are developing, getting better in the weight room, mentally, emotionally. And you do that by having a positive culture. You do that by having all the resources in place. But I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing right now. I'm not going to do, backflips or anything, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged of what I'm seeing so far. I really am. And each and every day I'm looking forward to seeing how this football team is going to come together and how they're going to play for one another and how they're going to play for the Power T and give their all for Tennessee. Because recruits are coming on campus for a day, 2 days, and they're leaving and saying, something is different. Something is different here. I can see it. I can hear it. That means a lot. So if recruits are coming on campus for 48 hours, 24 hours, and they can feel the energy be a little bit different, imagine what we're going to see come the first couple games of the season when these guys have been together for months and months and months. Imagine what we're going to see. So we're going to see a difference. It is, are we going to be able to compete and hold up against some of the big dogs? That's going to be the question. But as that happens, things will be easier for Josh Heupel to bring in more and more talent. So focus on the culture. Focus on treating people right. Focus on the little things. And from everybody I talked to over there that understands this concept, guys that have been here before, when you do those things, you be consistent, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. That's how Tennessee works. All right, let's get to Don on the Irish Networks hotline. Don, good morning.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, Don?
I'm doing all right, my friend. Yeah, since your cohort there is a Rivals guy, put in perspective these rankings this early, which I think is, we got to take everything with a grain of salt, good and bad. Let's look where we were last year at this time, blowing it out and going, but hey, half those kids never got to campus. But the woe is me crowd, I noticed after the commitment yesterday, looking at Rivals rankings, we were one spot ahead of Florida.
Yeah,
so
I mean.
They're not going through all the stuff we are, so what's their excuse?
Yeah, they always start late, though, Don, and then, have a strong finish. But, for that crowd.
My point is, though, it's early.
Yeah,
That's
it is early. It's right. Yep, that's exactly right.
And then a couple of days ago, this was even before yesterday's commitment, I went to looking at Rivals and Go 247, and I noticed that the guy who replaced Coach Heupel down at Central Florida is about 60th in recruiting right now.
Gus Malzahn?
Yep. And I noticed that Lane Kiffin, many people's savior they wanted, is in like 56, 58th in recruiting right now. Jamie Chadwell down around 100. Hugh Freeze off the radar so far down. So I think being hypercritical of Coach Heupel right now is just a little premature about recruiting. Yeah, it hurts all those guys you guys were naming in state that's going to other places. But that's not anything new. That was going on under the last regime. I mean, they were going to Michigan and all over the country rather than coming to Tennessee. He lassoed a few, but not many. So it's not like this is a brand new thing. We've had 2 or 3 coaches in a row that went out and burned bridges all over the state. So, the new guy's not going to be able to repair all the damage that's been done where the grenades have been strapped to the bottom of the bridges and blowed up. in 3 or 4 months on the job. I guess is my biggest point. And on top of that, a lot of the kids didn't even play last year, and the ones that didn't get seen by rivals 247 guys. They weren't out. There's another whole football season in high school to be played. So wherever these guys be ranked, as you guys know, they re-rank the boards re-rank these guys 2-3 more times before signing day. Am I not right?
Yep. Because guys improve, guys develop, and players sometimes are not seen. I remember when Justin Fields came out of nowhere and became the number 1 quarterback in the country because either he wasn't seen as much as other quarterbacks, and not either, but the fact that he just got better quick, fast, in a hurry. There's a point early in Justin Fields' high school career where he came up to Tennessee, and Tennessee wasn't interested enough. They didn't have a sense of urgency. And Justin Fields went to the lab and got better and proved that, he's one of the best guys in the country. So there's a lot that goes into these rankings. I mean, these guys, they don't see every single player the same. Not everybody's going to camp. Not everyone has, accessible film. Last year, there's guys that didn't even play because of COVID. You have players who sometimes are injured during the eval period, so that plays into it. So that's why I always say keep these things, keep the recruiting rankings with a grain of salt, because there's so many different factors. And like you just said, Don, it's so early. It's July. It's July the 13th, and usually we see Florida down low, and Ole Miss is where they are, but it's going to heat up, and guys are going to start getting players that they want, and the teams in the SEC will rise. They'll be at the top of the top 15 like they always are, and then you have your jockeying for position inside of the SEC. But as long as you get good players, as long as you keep them, as long as you develop them, you're going to be all right. Now, one thing that stands out to me with this staff recruiting is the fact that Walter Nolan has Tennessee in his top 5. And I didn't think Tennessee had a freaking snowball's chance with Walter Nolan.
Nope. They did it a month and a half ago, but Rodney Garner, being the best defensive line coach in the country, on and off the field, as a developer and as a recruiter, has got Tennessee back in that mix. I still think it's a long shot, but still, Tennessee's in the top 5, and I'd rather be in the top 5 than not be in the top 5.
Yeah, you got to be in it to win it.
Got to be in it to win it.
Auburn's another one. They got a new coach about the time we did, and they're way, way below Tennessee in recruiting at this point in time. What I done, though, I went over in Rivals, and I started looking at all the teams ahead of us. If you went by star average, which I think is a more reflection than numbers, because you've got I see one school has already got 21 commitments. They don't have any 4 stars at all, but they got 21 commitments.
Boston College.
There's several like that, and they're averaging like Vanderbilt's actually a couple spots ahead of you, but their star average is about 2.39, 49.
2.88. Vanderbilt 16. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
16 commitments. They're 29th in the country.
So that's another thing when you're just like, well, this team's 30th or 40th or 12th or, but what are they going to be when everybody's got, 20 plus commits? It's bit Tennessee. Even before we had all the turmoil last year, we started slipping when the other teams started having the same number of recruits that we had piled up early. We were still great, but great shape at that point, but we had slipped quite a bit. So I just tell everybody, hey, just cool your heels and let's see what happens when everything's shook out. So I don't panic about the recruiting. I never have, because Coach Fulmer used to be notorious to go into November with only a handful of commitments, and then they would, have all these official visits. They'd save them all up and throw them in there late in the season, during the season, and most of the time then when it was all shook out, he was somewhere in the top 5. So
it'll work out.
I learned. Yeah. How late did you commit?
I wouldn't call it late. When I was coming out, when I committed, it's considered early for a player of my caliber. So I committed in December, which was considered early then, because a lot of guys at the Army All-American game, a lot of guys that were All-Americans, they waited until signing day. They wanted to make an announcement. Things shifted in the last 15 years where, and we see it, early signing period. We see 5 stars committing now more than ever before. That just wasn't the case when I was coming out.
Yeah, that's what I remembered for the most part. Even Peyton, I remember I walked in church one day during the week, and our youth guy was there, and he was just highly anticipating Peyton. He hadn't committed yet. I walked in and I said, "Hey, Randy," I said, "Tennessee got their quarterback." He goes, "Wow, Peyton committed?" And I said, "No, a guy in Texas." It had him worried there for a little bit that Peyton wasn't, since we took a highly ranked quarterback out of Texas, that Peyton wouldn't come on. But, so that's the way it used to be. Like you said, now everything's moved up, but I'm pretty happy with everything. But I'll get off and let you guys continue to discuss.
Thanks you. Right now, man, Ohio State is kicking butts and taking names, but we know that the Bamas, who only have 10 commitments, will rise. We know that, Georgia's going to be up there in the top. But Boston College right now has 21 commitments. I mean, they basically shut everything down if they wanted to, and they're at 10th, 21 commitments. For some folks, man, this stuff doesn't matter to them. For others, this is what they eat, breathe, and sleep on. And Tennessee's at 11 commitments right now, and it'll all shake out. And I told Don, like I'm telling everybody, the fact that Tennessee is in the top 5 of Walter Nolan is very significant. Yeah, Tennessee got Cam Miller. Tennessee got Squirrel White, and those are commitments. But to be out of it, to be completely out of it, and to be in Walter Nolan's top 5, let you know that the Tennessee is putting in some work. And then there's a chance that Walter Nolan may be a freaking Knoxville native playing high school football. I'm pretty sure that's going to give Tennessee even a better chance. And I'm not saying Tennessee's going to be the team to beat here, but to have someone say absolutely no to you, no shot, and then considering you with 4 of the different teams, that is a lot of ground that you have made up. That is significant right there. Hour number 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Be right back.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
It's a new season, which means it's time to rep your team in new ways with gear from Game Time Sidekicks. Rep the Vols with every sip with a new tie-dye tumbler or bottle. They also have a new NFL Players Association product line, so you can support your favorite VFL on Sundays. Want to put your own flair on a tumbler? Game Time Sidekicks has you covered with options to add your own text or even a monogram on the back of your favorite team tumbler. To check out everything that Game Time Sidekicks has to offer, go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Carry your team with Game Time Sidekicks. Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over. More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. As the weather heats up, so does our market, and from Johnson City to Knoxville, eager buyers are grabbing up many available properties. The chili is hot in East Tennessee, so if you are ready to buy or sell or want to talk more about our local real estate market, I'm just a phone call away. Or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Homes, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
Attaboy here on the Swain Event is brought to you by Iris Networks, a work from home voice and video and mobility solution that works for you business owners. 90 days, no payment for business internet. irisnetworksusa.com. Give them a call at 865-448-4747. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, bringing you positivity on a beautiful Tuesday here in East Tennessee. We got some guys to give some flowers to. Ben, who we got?
That's right. Tennessee had 5 players drafted in the MLB draft yesterday, so I'm giving an attaboy to all 5 baseball players who were drafted. Chad Dallas was the first one off the board in the 4th round to the Toronto Blue Jays. Then in the 5th round, Liam Spence was the second Vol off the board. He was drafted by the Chicago Cubs. Max Ferguson was 3rd and also drafted in the 5th round. He went to the San Diego Padres. Then in the 7th round, Tennessee had 2 more players drafted to bring the total to 5. And Connor Pavolony was the first one, going in the 7th round to the Baltimore Orioles. And then Jake Rucker was the final Vol drafted yesterday by the Minnesota Twins in the 7th round as well. So 5 Vols drafted in the first 10 rounds, the most in program history, and just an excellent job by those young men and by Tony Vitello and his coaching staff to develop those guys to the point to where they can be drafted within the first 10 rounds. So really happy for those guys. Now I got a bone to pick with you.
Who?
You.
Me.
You jinxed me.
Nobody went to the Yankees.
Correct.
Nobody went to the White Sox either.
I don't care about the White Sox.
Spence went to the Cubs.
Here's why I have a bone to pick with you. I guess you kind of jinxed yourself as well, because you asked me yesterday during touchdown or turnover, will the Yankees draft any Vols? And when you said that, when you put that into the atmosphere, it cursed me. It jinxed me.
Nobody went to the Red Sox, though.
No, but 3 players went to AL East teams. Chad Dallas went to the Blue Jays.
Not bad.
Connor Pavolony went to the Orioles.
They ain't that good.
The Blue Jays are.
I mean, they're not. You don't have to worry about them every year.
No, but it's the simple fact that I want to root for Chad Dallas and Connor Pavoloni, and they're in the AL East.
And now they're not the Red Sox.
They're in the division.
They ain't a big threat though.
No, you're crazy. They're still in the division. And then Ryan Spikes, Tennessee's shortstop signee, was drafted in the 3rd round, 100th overall, to the Tampa Bay Rays. So 3 of the 5 teams in the AL East drafted somebody connected to the Vols. And really, because I'm a Yankees fan, that takes off one of the teams. So there's 4 teams that I wanted them to avoid. 4. And 3 of the 4 drafted one yesterday. And it's all your fault. And it's also your fault that Liam Spence went to the Cubs and not the White Sox.
I mean, listen, man. Tampa Bay won the division last year, but the last time any other team besides the Yankees or the Red Sox won a division was 2015. Chillax.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's the principle of having former Vols, now former Vols, be drafted.
Former Vol baseball players
in the division. You don't want them in your division. I know you don't pay attention to who the Yankees play on a daily basis, but I have to watch the Yankees and Orioles play each other 18 times a year. The Yankees and Blue Jays play each other 18 times a year, and the Blue Jays are one of the up-and-coming teams in baseball right now with all their young talent, and the Rays played in the World Series last year and were 2 games away from winning it. So I know to you, from the outside looking in, it's not the Red Sox, but I don't like the Rays. I hate the Rays. The Yankees and Rays rivalry has been better than the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry the last 5 years.
So you blaming me?
Yes, it is your fault. You put bad juju into the atmosphere yesterday when you asked me, are any Vols going to be drafted by the Yankees? It was that moment in time when you put that bad juju into the atmosphere soaked it up and then Shazammed me with just bad news yesterday.
Hey, man, I wanted Chad Dallas to go to the Brewers, Milwaukee Brewers. That would have been great, him being in Wisconsin with the nickname Cheese, but that didn't work out.
That would have been great.
That would have been great. Didn't work out. And then Rucker, it'd have been good to see him with the Atlanta Braves or something like that, because I wonder if Darius Rucker is a Braves fan. That would have been cool.
It's a good thing that he did not go to the Cubs. Could you imagine Wes and the team record tweets?
He'd have been insufferable. Oh, my gosh. I probably would have blocked him on Twitter. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so, it all worked out the way it's supposed to, man. Mm-hmm. 5 guys drafted, program record. Man, doesn't look like we're going to slow down anytime soon, because Tennessee is adding some talent to this squad. And had a big-time break, too. Had some players drafted and will go to the major league, but man, got a big time pitcher for the Mid-State that's touching 100 miles per hour.
101
that they're going to bring in.
That's right, Chase Burns from Beach High School there in Gallatin. The next Blade Tidwell. Blade Tidwell was in a very similar spot this time last year. A guy who could be a 2nd, 3rd round pick out of high school, but knows that he can come to Tennessee, develop under Frank Anderson, and be a 1st round pick 3 years from now. And Blake Tidwell, that plan, that thought process is about to pay off for him. He only has to be at Tennessee for 2 seasons because he is old for his grade. And he'll be 21 and draft eligible by next year's draft. So Blake Tidwell could have been drafted out of high school, could have been a high pick, but was asking for guaranteed 1st round money and was more in that 2nd, 3rd round range, and decided to pass up on the draft and come to Tennessee, and was tremendous as a freshman, and should be one of the best pitchers in the country this upcoming season. And if he does that, then he'll be a top 15, top 20 pick this time next year. Chase Burns, the prospect that we're talking about, is in that same mold, fits that same mold. A guy, again, who could have been a 2nd round pick, but was asking for 1st round money, is going to come to school and develop under Frank Anderson. And 3 years from now, if everything goes according to plan, he'll be a bona fide top 15 pick, top 10 pick and make millions of dollars. So that was great news for Tennessee yesterday to avoid him getting drafted and avoid a team buying him out of his commitment.
Looking like Aaron Judge,
so to speak.
Looking like a big old swole Aaron Judge.
Chase Burns is a big old boy, 6'4", 220. Has touched 101. Just throws absolute gas. Has a nice breaking ball. Big break for Tennessee yesterday when he told me that he was going to come to school and not sign with the team. I expect him to be in the rotation if everything goes according to plan. I expect him to fill the shoes of that Sunday starter that Blake Tidwell, that role that Blake Tidwell played last year. I expect Chase Burns to be in that role this year. So you have Blake Tidwell on Friday, Chase Burns on Sunday, and then Seth Halverson, the Missouri transfer, more than likely on Saturday, if I had to guess.
People are watching, man. People are watching. I got a phone call from my uncle in Texas, who has a son that's going to play at the next level. Who knows, man? He may go into the draft, but he been watching the MLB draft. He called me yesterday. Can't wait to get to Tennessee. People are watching. People are watching Tennessee. Tony Vitello has done a great job. And when he signed that contract again? Is he back from vacation?
I refuse to talk about that right now. I refuse.
Oh, man.
But also, Tony Vitello serves as another example for kind of the path to success for Josh Heupel, in my opinion. It's also the Rick Barnes model that I have mentioned several times on the show. I know you agree and have mentioned it as well, and you talked about it a little earlier in the hour. You talked about it more from the development standpoint, but the evaluations and the development have to be on point, because the 5 that were drafted yesterday weren't bona fide top high school prospects coming out, or even just big time junior college guys either, because Liam Spence and Chad Dallas were JUCO players that they signed. But Max Ferguson, he was a wiry first baseman who wasn't an elite prospect coming out of high school, and Connor Pavoloni was not either. Jake Rucker was not. So they were all solid recruits, but they fit more of the the Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield mold rather than the Jordan Beck, Kennedy Chandler, Keon Johnson, Drew Gilbert, Chase Burns type of mold. So I think Josh Heupel has 2 great examples on campus of how to build up a program that's not in a great spot when you take over the job. And it's easier said than done, obviously, but gotta hit on your evaluations. You just have to, because you're gonna have to take guys who are not just elite prospects, because elite prospects don't want to come to Tennessee. It's the unfortunate reality that Tennessee is facing right now, and you're gonna have to take some chances on guys and just make sure your evaluations are on point. Develop them when they get here to campus, and everything else will take care of itself. Again, it's easier for me to sit up here and say to do that and then actually go out there and do it.
But that's what you got to do.
But that's what you have to do. And then once you start winning with those under-recruited prospects and they develop into professional players like Rick Barnes and Tony Vitello have done, then you'll recruiting will be very easy for you. All the top prospects will come.
So Ryan Spikes, I'm on the text box this morning, and Vol fan asked about Ryan Spikes sending out the Vol tweet 30 minutes before being drafted. He says, I'm assuming he will sign his professional contract and not make it to Tennessee. So I went over to look at Ryan Spikes' account, and yesterday around 1:47, he tweeted, "Go Vols," with him decked out in the smoky gray uniforms. And then a little bit later, 30 minutes later, he goes on to get himself selected with the 100th pick by Tampa Bay Rays. And Ben, you can't talk to him to come on back, and then 3 years later get drafted by the Yankees?
I wish. We can talk about it here next hour. We got 20 seconds, but
That's what you
maybe
said.
I can pull out some magic there.
That's what you always say. Hour 2 is coming up. Stay with us.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the happy face truck today.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Touchdown or turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, and hour number 2 is here. We start hour 2 with touchdown turnover, backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, place where you belong, better rates and better service. It's the guy, Ben McKee. Jason Swain here with you live from the Low T Center studio. Former Tennessee quarterback Kaden Salter transferred to Liberty. Touchdown turnover. He will finish his career at Liberty. He will finish his career at Liberty, touchdown or turnover. So, considering this question, basically saying, hey, he's gonna be a success there. I think it's a good fit just on the outside looking in. You look at that school, and we understand their Christian values and how important faith is there at Liberty. And they went out and gave a second chance to Hugh Freeze, who, quite frankly, embarrassed himself when he was the coach at Ole Miss. And that second chance has proven to work for both sides. Liberty is good in football, competing at a high level. Hugh Freeze is restructuring and rebuilding his image. So here's Kaden Salter that just had quite frankly, a terrible Tennessee career. Terrible in a short amount of time. Everything that could went wrong for him. And, he's getting a fresh start. But I asked you the question about finishing his career at Liberty. That would suggest that, he's successful, it works out, he doesn't go to another school and transfer again. But do you think, touchdown turnover, that he will finish his career at Liberty?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't like this question, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but okay.
I mean, what we have to go off of, you have to say turnover, right? That's why I don't like it, just because I don't want to sit up here and not saying that it's a bad. I just don't like it because of what my answer is going to be. Just because all we have to go off of is him not having his head on straight. We don't have any evidence that he has his head on straight or will get his head on straight. So for that simple reason, I'm saying turnover, just because of that's all we have to go off of. I hope that he figures it out. Really, because Hugh Freeze can, man, what he could do with Kaden Salter, if Kaden Salter can figure it out, that may be appointment television, because he may be better than Malik Willis, quite honestly.
Good.
Because I think Kaden Salter has more natural quarterback skills than Malik Willis. Malik Willis is more of the Lamar Jackson type of just the elite athlete playing the quarterback position. And Kaden Salter has more refined quarterback skills, in my opinion. So if he could get his head on straight, Hugh Freeze could potentially make Kaden Salter a lot of money. But just because, again, we don't really have much to go off of, all we know is that Kaden Salter doesn't have his head on straight, I'll say turnover, that he doesn't finish his career at Liberty. But I sure hope that he does get it turned around.
Well, I think a part of a player being successful is, yes, his maturity level and where he is, but also the support and resources that's around him. And so that's why I was mentioning the fact that you have a coach that can say, man, I've been in the same place where you are right now. I was on top. I was on top at one point coaching at an SEC school. I had beaten Alabama a couple times. I was considered the savior at Ole Miss. He was getting top recruits, had Ole Miss popular, land shark, all these things happened at Ole Miss, and Hugh Freeze was, kind of at the top. And then it all just crumbled, all was taken away. Kaden Salter was at the top of his game, leading his high school team to a state championship opportunity. Came up a little bit short, but he was the man. He was the man for that stretch in his life, high school. Then he gets to Tennessee, and his world crumbles. Hugh Freeze had a moment where his world crumbled, and he crawled back. He bounced back, and it took a second chance. It took a second chance from Liberty to believe in him. And don't get me wrong, they gave him a second chance because he's a good football coach too, but he's taking advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And so you have a coach that can look you in the eye and say, hey, man, I understand. I've been there. That's more of kind of what I'm looking at with Kaden Salter. At the end of the day, it's Kaden Salter's decision that's going to make or break him at Liberty. And, yes, if he does the same thing that he did here at Liberty, yeah, he's not going to finish. But I think because of the support, because you have Hugh Freeze as a guy that also had Chad Kelly. He had Chad Kelly. And Chad Kelly was similar to a Kaden Salter who came in with a lot of praise. Chad Kelly's the nephew of Hall of Fame NFL quarterback Jim Kelly. So you had the last name. And Chad Kelly just could not get right at Clemson and was kicked off, dismissed. thrown away. And Hugh Freeze took Chad Kelly, and Chad Kelly didn't have any problems at Ole Miss, and was a dang good player. He's taken Malik Willis. He's taken quarterbacks that wasn't good enough at one school or got in trouble at one school. He's taken them and he's turned them into a better player. So it's gonna be on Salter at the end of the day, but I'm more so asking the question because now he has a guy that has history of rehabilitating quarterbacks that have gotten in trouble at previous stops. So I think that he's going to work there under Hugh Freeze at Liberty. So I'm gonna say touchdown, man. I think it does. Don't know, can't predict the future, but I think it's gonna work out. And I think, and I don't know the Salters, faith. I don't follow them enough on Twitter to know. And just because someone says something on Twitter, doesn't necessarily mean anything anyway. Sometimes. But I would assume that they are a family of faith. And those are things at Liberty that's they're not going to hide from. My high school coach, there was no question what his faith was, and we praise the team, and some coaches don't do that because they want to respect everybody's faith. Sometimes you have people on your team who don't practice Christianity, and you respect you respect where they come from. But I'm pretty sure Liberty will have a strong Christian presence, and that may be exactly what Salter needs. So I think what Liberty has to offer from football and off the football field, I think it will bode well for Kaden Salter and his development as a person. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and hopefully it doesn't prove me wrong here. I know a lot of people are cheering for him still, rooting for him to be successful. I'm gonna say he's gonna be all right there at Liberty. Who knows, man? Hugh Freeze may be getting a job here in the next year or two, and he may go with Hugh Freeze. So you can think about that way too. You could say turnover, not because it's something bad, but hey, he's doing a great job and he's leaving. Because I know one thing: if Hugh Freeze would have, left this year, there was a chance that Malik Willis could have came with him.
Yeah.
So you can think about it that way. Him finish his career at Liberty or not finish his career at Liberty doesn't have to be tied to something negative. It can actually be tied to something positive too, because you have a coach in Hugh Freeze that's still trying to prove himself to get a second chance inside of the SEC or top, Power 5 job. So a couple ways, different ways to look at it. Let me hit up the text box this morning. The overall says, God bless Hugh Freeze, I always say. GBO Rilla says, good morning, Swain Event. Swain Event listeners, it's Cruton time with AP. Austin is on vacation. So Austin's place has been taken by the great John Brice today at Football Scoops. But we got Ben McKee here. Ben talked to these recruits just as much as Austin talks to these recruits. So Addison Nichols is number one on the board, according to Austin Price, his most important player for Tennessee. He is a bona fide 4-star. He is a player with Tennessee ties. He's down in Georgia. He's a player that multiple SEC schools want, SEC rivals of Tennessee want. And this is the type of player that you want to win these battles. And this is the early test in the Josh Heupel era. Can he win this battle? Can he win this battle for Addison Nichols versus programs that are more stable, that are winning more, and have a chance to compete for a championship? Better chance to compete for a championship than Tennessee. First big test for Tennessee and Josh Heupel, but Tennessee's in a pretty good spot from what I hear, Ben.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is, and as Austin pointed out, you just can't waste the ties that you have to Addison Nichols. Grew up coming to Tennessee basketball games, Lady Vol basketball games, Tennessee football games. His grandparents have lived in Knoxville. Rick Barnes lives on their street right now. So he's been to Tennessee plenty growing up and has even been to Tennessee plenty during the recruiting process. So you just can't lose out on a guy like that. You just can't. I mean, it's as simple as that. He is a big-time offensive lineman that would be a tremendous pickup for Tennessee just from a pure football standpoint. But then you throw in all the ties, and, again, it's just not somebody you can miss. You can't waste those ties. But Tennessee's in a good spot. Feels like an Ohio State versus Tennessee battle.
You think
he likes USC, but I think the distance is going to be a factor there.
I was about to ask you about USC because there's a hashtag We Want Addison campaign going on Twitter with a lot of USC players and fans, recruits. But Tennessee is certainly in the mix. And from what I hear, Tennessee's in a good spot. That doesn't mean that's not any code for Tennessee is number one and he's going to come to Tennessee. That is truly what I mean is that Tennessee's in a good spot.
Tennessee has positioned themselves well.
Yeah, they're in striking distance.
They are one of the teams at the top. Again, that feels like a Tennessee-Ohio State battle. Really likes USC, really, really, really does, and USC may be the team to beat if it weren't located on the other side of the country. But I do think distance is the factor there. And if they can go out and land Addison Nichols to pair with Messiah Reddick and Mo Clipper, two guys that I think will outplay their recruiting ranking, and then you have the potential of a Brian Grant who just hasn't played a ton of football and is just a pure athlete, has a lot of athleticism and can bend out there at tackle. You add Addison Nichols to those three, and you're looking at a really strong offensive line haul, in my opinion.
Give these guys a chance. Give them a reason. You got these ties to Tennessee. Just give them a reason. Give them a reason to say, you know what? I want to go to my childhood team. I believe in what they're doing. They may not be where they are, where I want them to be today, or they may not be where they want to be today, but just give me a reason to come. And that's what Heupel has to do. Previous coaches have missed out on those ties because you didn't give them a reason. You found some way to mess it up. Just don't mess it up. Give these guys a reason. Man, their heart, that is a strong muscle right there. And if you can get to the player's heart by being genuine and showing your interest in him and calling him every day, letting him know how much he means, it may pay off for Tennessee. Let's get to Turkey Man on the Iris Networks hotline. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I had a question here this morning on the star ratings. I've heard Pat Summit used to say that it's hard to win unless you had thoroughbreds. And we've talked in the past how important it is. Can you look at star ratings, how important they are in football at the positions difference? Talk about quarterback, we look at 5-star. How important a star rating is at a position, skill position. And also, we've been talking baseball and all that direction. How is the 5-star or a highly rated player more important in baseball or basketball than it is football?
Well, Turkey Man, I'll answer your first question. I don't think the star rating or the 5-star rating at the position player matters as much as the team rankings, where you may have a group of 5 stars with a class. I'll give you an example. Just because you have one 5-star at a position doesn't mean that player is going to plan out. That individual player, because I can go show you a 4-star that will be and can be better than that 5-star. The reason why that player gets that 5-star is projecting. You feel like that player in 3 years or 4 years is an NFL player in the first round. That doesn't mean that the 4-star is not an NFL player, but you just feel like the 5-star is a player that's going to be in the first round of the NFL draft in 3 or 4 years. Well, how in the heck can you project that with a high probability. It's hard. It's hard. And that's why we have to understand that these recruiting guys, they work hard, they do a good job, but they're wrong too. They are wrong. They get it wrong. They get it wrong sometimes. They get it wrong more than just sometimes. That doesn't mean that they're not good. It doesn't mean that, they don't deserve your attention. They don't deserve, you looking at them and treating them like experts. That doesn't mean that. But the kids, they develop, they change, they mature, or some of them never mature. You just never know. So I don't think it's a big deal individually. But when you look at the team, you can go and research this because it tells on itself. You go look at the last 10 years of the recruiting rankings as a team. The teams that are at the top are usually the squads who are competing for conference and national championships. That I don't think that point is really debatable. But the difference between a 5-star defensive tackle in Khalil McKenzie and the difference between a Derek Barnett 4-star is one tore it up at Tennessee, and one was solid but didn't tear it up. So that's an example of you got to take it with a grain of salt, Turkey Man. You really do, because that 5-star was a projection of what Khalil could do. It didn't work out. Derek Barnett obviously was the better player. He's in the freaking history books. And he beat out Reggie White to do it.
Am I still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, my point with what you're talking about, Jason, my point being, if we had 3 stars coming into basketball, would we be as excited about upcoming basketball as the ones that look like they're difference makers in basketball, which are higher ratings?
No.
So the reason I'm asking this is a difference in having a highly ranked player in basketball versus a highly ranked player in football, which means stars, which means that they're rated according to that. I mean, Leroy Buttseth, whatever his name was, it was 6 stars. The Titans bill made up, But I'm just saying, we look at Archie Manning. He's a 5-star. He comes from looks like he'd be successful just because his family. I mean, we look at they have been successful. Good chance he'd be successful. A difference maker. You talk about 3 stars making a difference. We all think of Cam. Was it Sutton?
Yes.
Okay. We look at him, and he come in as a true freshman 3-star and made a difference. That don't always pan out, but then you got on the same token, you got the Berry boy. He come in and just lit it up.
Which Berry? Eric?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Eric came in as a 5-star All-American, and the reason why is because they projected him to be an NFL player in 3 years, which he was. He was a first-round pick. He was a starter for all 3 years. And to answer the question about the difference between football and basketball, is there a difference? Heck yeah, because it's a different sport. And when a 5-star player gets labeled in basketball, they're saying this guy's a one and done, and he'll be in the NBA.
Well, I think the biggest difference is simply the amount of people that are playing at once. A 5-star on the basketball court, because there's only 5 players, it's going to have a bigger impact. Yeah. Whereas you can have a 5-star receiver come in. You can have Derrick Rogers come in. You can have Justin Hunter come in, and let's pretend for a second that they were on their own. They weren't playing together. But what does it really matter if you have Derrick Rogers on the outside, but you don't have an offensive that can block? You don't have a quarterback that can throw him the football. You don't have coaches that are going to develop on the offensive side of the ball, and you don't have a good offense coordinator. Then all of a sudden, that receiver out there, that 5-star Derrick Rogers, I mean, he may make a couple of SportsCenter top 10 plays throughout the season, but it's not going to translate to wins. Whereas I feel like in basketball, that particular player, that 5-star, can maybe overcome poor coaching or, a lack of competent teammates. It's just smaller number of people.
Man, just say it, man. Just if you're gonna throw shade at Georgia basketball, just do it. Don't beat around the bush.
Well, heck, even Tom Crean managed to not win with Anthony Edwards. At least with old Johnny Jones in Baton Rouge, Ben Simmons was. I guess Ben Simmons didn't make it to the tournament.
They were trash too. Yeah, they didn't go to the tournament. Yeah, Johnny Jones did not go to the tournament with Ben Simmons.
I guess a good example would be. In general, I think Avery Johnson is a good basketball coach. His time at Alabama did not play out, but Colin Sexton maybe helped a little bit by carrying that one team to the tournament. And I don't think that they won a game, but was able to overcome a lack of competent teammates and some poor coaching to help make that basketball team look better than what it was because he was a 5-star elite talent.
And the 5-star rating is when they feel like that this kid is going to be a professional player.
Mm-hmm.
That's and they think they're going to be a first round or a lottery pick. That's where these guys are getting the 5 stars from. So have you seen high school students where they peaked really early in life? They're popular, they're good looking, and you just assume they're smart. You assume that, man, they're going to have a super successful life, and they're going to go on and do great things. And then you come back to the 10-year reunion, and you realize that he peaked early, and he didn't do anything after college. Opposite view, you look at a guy like Ben McKee. He looks like he didn't have anything going for him. And look at him. He's working at Rivals. He's working at VolQuest.
I don't know. It probably still looks like I don't have anything going for me.
Ben peaked. He didn't peak early. So think about that way when you look at these 5-star ratings, is that these analysts are saying, all right, we think this guy's really, really good now, but we think in 3 years in football that this player is going to be a first-round pick, and we think in a year that this 5-star basketball player is going to be an NBA lottery pick. That doesn't mean that the 4-star player is not going to go to the NBA or the NFL. We just think that this guy's going to be a first-round pick when he comes out. That's the only difference. That doesn't mean that 4-star player or even 3-star player can't be good for you. He can be good for you. Because a 3-star player could have the right intangibles. You got to have the right intangibles to take 3 stars. If you take the wrong star, but you want 3-star with NFL, NBA intangibles, and it's the coaching staff's job to find if that player possesses that intangible. If he does, you can work with everything else. You can help that player develop into the player that can help your team compete for a championship, and that player go on to the NBA or NFL. I'll give you an example. Josh Richardson had a special intangible coming in as a freaking 2-star, 3-star. He was 6'5", 6'6", that was long, athletic, and could play very, very good defense and coachable. That was an intangible that Conzo Martin took, and then Donnie took, and he developed everything else about his game. And then Josh Richardson ended up being a dang draft pick and being a very important piece on teams that he's been a part of since he's been in the NBA, like the Heat, the Sixers, and now the Mavs. Well, Tobias Harris was a first-round pick who was a 5-star that came in, was, in that Bruce Pearl class. But you look at Josh Richardson, you look at Tobias Harris, they both in the league. Mm-hmm. And they're both playing critical roles on their basketball team. One was predicted to be a lottery pick. One was predicted to be, was a 5-star McDonald's All-American. The other wasn't Josh Richardson, but Josh Richardson had intangibles that you could work with. That's what you're looking at with this Tennessee football recruiting class, is there's some 3-stars in here that have intangibles. Squirrel has elite speed. He has elite speed, a 10.6, 200-meter. Elite speed, that's an intangible.
And to your point about a 3-star with elite speed, Jalen Wright. And what did Jalen Wright show this this spring that he's going to be a good football player for Tennessee. How good of a football player? Who knows? How much will Jalen Wright contribute? Who knows? But I can promise you that Jalen Wright, over the course of his Tennessee career, will contribute as a football player, a good football player to Tennessee. And he was a 3-star with elite speed.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up. Give me a high five, Ben. Give me a high five. I'm so glad you brought him up because what's the difference between him right now and LaMarcus Coker when he came in 2005? What's the difference? Because they're both
the rating
smaller backs with elite speed. What's the difference? Because one plays in Louisiana, and I know Dutchtown High School got some real football in Louisiana. And no slight to my man Coker, little brother, but they play high school football in Tennessee. So which one is a better prospect coming in? I don't know. I know that LaMarcus wasn't as mature as he needed to be, and that's why he didn't finish his career. So you just never know. Both have elite speed, but they just felt like LaMarcus was going to be a 3-year, 4-year player and go to the NFL, a first-round pick. That's why he had a 5-star.
You're thinking of Dylan Sampson from Louisiana. Jalen Wright's from North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
But Dylan Sampson, I think Jalen Wright is Dylan Sampson.
Jalen Wright is already here.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Sampson. This is a 3-star from Louisiana.
But I mean, even with Dylan Sampson, you have to be encouraged by what you see from Jalen Wright because
he's fast too.
Dylan Sampson is the Jalen Wright of this class.
Yeah, Jalen Wright's track speed. Yeah, he got track speed, and he played good football too in the state. But North Carolina.
He's from Durham.
Yeah, so there's good high school.
Take that cut, Cliff.
Yeah, take that cut. Let me get back to the phones, man.
We got DR Vol.
DR Vol, good morning.
Yeah, that's what happened to me in actually junior high. I peaked too soon. When I got to high school, I was done for.
Yeah. You can't peak too soon, man. It's about peaking at the right time.
I heard you peaked in middle school.
What's that?
I heard you peaked in middle school.
That's what I just said.
You said junior high.
Junior high is middle school.
Same thing where I'm from. Guys, have we not learned from last year? I'm not talking about y'all, but there's certain people out there to not get overly upset about the recruiting. I mean, we were the number 2 class in the nation at one point last year.
Were we?
I think so. I can't remember how high. I'll take DR Vol's word for it, but I don't remember how high Tennessee got. But
we did.
They were up there.
We did. I remember because I remember we got some shade from the Oklahoma assistant. We got some shade from the Florida assistant.
Kentucky.
Yeah, we got some shade from some of the coaches around the country. Tennessee was on fire, man. It was like I think Ohio State was number 1 at the time. Why. Tennessee was number 2, number 3. I remember.
Yeah, that's not, and South Carolina. I have bookmarked plenty of tweets from them bragging about their recruiting, which we did it last year. They've even got stats out there or graphics. South Carolina fans about how they're 2-0 head-to-head against Bama in recruiting this cycle and stuff like that.
No, DR Vol, you lying.
Nah, I swear to God.
Where's the receipt? Where's the receipts? I know you got them.
I'll find it.
Oh my gosh.
It's in my bookmark. That is in my bookmark. I just think it's laughable. And, as far as the stars and stuff, and I used to be one of them too, I'm not going to get upset about it until the signing day because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we were excited about J.J. Peterson and J.G. They were 4 stars.
Yeah.
J.G. was a borderline 5-star.
Yep. Who Urban Meyer threw shade at for not picking Ohio State.
Urban legitimately wanted him.
Urban was hurt.
Yes.
Urban was really hurt.
Yes.
Urban was just trying to be an honorary VFL, don't you think?
He was hurt, man. He was hurt when Jared picked Tennessee over Ohio State.
DR Vol, do you like Urban Meyer?
Not as a person, but would I take him as a football coach? Yeah.
that was my next question because I was going to ask you, if Urban Meyer told you that he wanted to come be the head coach of Tennessee right now, would you take him?
I'd ask him if he needed help moving. I'd be there. I just counted off my taxes, my gas money. I'm ready to win, man.
I feel you.
I can't blame you.
Yeah. I mean, that's like Salter going to play for the right reverend, man.
You jealous?
I mean, he's going to win there.
Because he's playing at Liberty.
Yeah, he's still going to win.
I think you should legitimately adopt Liberty as your second favorite team. Like, I have adopted Army as my second favorite team. And, like, I legitimately root for Army and go out of my way to watch Army football. And it helps that Jeff Monken has them playing really good football at the moment. We'll see what happens when they go back to being terrible. But you should truly adopt Liberty as your second team.
I got something better. You should ask Hugh Freeze to adopt you.
Well, I mean, he did slide my DMs at one time, so he may do it.
I mean, hey, man.
Did he tell you to choose Joy?
I always choose Joy Bent. Well, I
don't.
don't always. I try to when it doesn't involve sports anyway. Let's put it like that.
It is amazing how different of a person you are when it doesn't come to sports.
Yeah,
it's night and day. It's Jekyll and Hyde.
He's a good person?
He is a good person when it comes to stuff outside of sports.
He's terrible when it comes to sports?
Yes.
I mean, I really don't have anything to complain about outside of sports. I mean, it's the sports.
Life is going well for you right now.
Complaint. Say that again.
Life is going well for you right now. Imagine if your
finally,
sports teams could figure it out.
Yeah, I know. Whereas beforehand, it was the complete opposite. Like in 16, my football team was good, but good God, my personal life sucked. But, I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for sports, man, I'd probably be a pretty happy person.
Balance is now here. Balance is coming. It's coming, DR Vol.
I hope so, Swain. Just make it fun this year. That's what I'm looking for. Make it fun, and let's not get curb stomped by Kentucky. I don't think we will.
That's the objective, man. If you're going to lose, at least score some points and be exciting.
Amen. Guys, before I go, which current or former Swain Event listener best prepared Ben to talk to recruits? And I'll hang up and listen.
The one that was talking to a recruit last night.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Lord help us. We're going to break.
If I was a recruit today, man, I'd have been hurting some fans' feelings. Be calling me trying to get me talk to me about where I'm going and all that stuff, man. I'd have been hurting some people's feelings, man. I'm so glad I didn't deal with this era of social media in my recruitment. Oh my gosh, it'd have been so annoying, so annoying.
Here's a good stat for you to DR Vol's phone call. It's from the other McKee. JG was the number 2 dual threat quarterback. Jalen Hurts was number 4. Also, 247 over the last month or so, they've changed. Have you noticed that they've changed their the way they classify players by position? They got rid of the pro style and the dual threat. Now they just rank all of the quarterbacks, and they rank interior linemen and tackles, and something that you've been clamoring for years now. I know that has to make you happy.
Yeah, because I told him it was stupid. Like, I mean, I still got relationships with guys from my time as a recruit, and they work in the industry, and I still have relationships with them. And I told them, because I'm a pretty honest person, it may come across as being mean, but I try to package it in a way where it's me trying to help and, you know, being a nice guy. I try to, but I told him it was stupid. It's stupid. Then get rid of it. Maybe somebody else told him that too, but you know how I've been always about how silly it is to put dual threat quarterbacks in a different category than pro quarterbacks. Just have one list, and if you 20th on the list, too damn bad. Go get better. Instead of trying to make 2 lists and put the 20th guy at number 5 dual threat, and he barely can throw. Because all you do is confuse the fans and have fans with these, you know, crazy expectations.
Thinking like, JG is going to be the next Mike Vick.
Yeah, thinking JG is going to be Dobbs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's one thing to have, you know, Dobbs is a dual threat quarterback, but having JG as one was not
it
accurate at all. All right, let's go take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We have in hour number 3, John Brice and Football Scoop that's going to join us. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
Bring on around the SEC. Ben, what you got for us today, my friend?
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Everything. I actually have an ACC note as well. But first, Missouri tight end Logan Christopherson has medically retired. He caught 3 passes last season. I know that is just grand news to you. But Missouri tight end Logan Christopherson is medically retiring. The only other thing I got for you, again, it's the build up to SEC Media Days. All things are quiet. People are on vacation. But I do have some ACC news for you. 2 Virginia Tech football players have entered the transfer portal. Alec Bryant, a former 4-star edge rusher in the 2020 class, and fellow edge rusher Robert Wooten, also a member of the 2020 class, are exploring alternative options. Should Tennessee go after these 2 young men? Bryant, the former 4-star, did not see the field as a freshman last season until the regular season finale. Wooten appeared in all 11 games for Virginia Tech, finishing with 3 tackles. Bryant was the number 17 ranked weak side defensive end. Should Tennessee are you comfortable with where Tennessee is at along the defensive line, or do you think that they should maybe try and go out and add some more defensive linemen if they feel
I would, but I mean,
like they're able to play?
I mean, you have to gauge whether or not a guy is going to be a contributor for you enough to not take a high school player that you're going to have for 4 years. So remember, the strategy with this staff has been, okay, we have needs that we need to fill, and we can fill that with, plug and play guys, maybe like a Javante Payton who has in 1 year, or we're going to, fill in with guys that we know have 3 years of eligibility left that are transferring. So Tennessee had a mix of those. So do you want to go get a player that's just a plug and play for 1 year, or do you want to go get someone that has a ton of upside that you know is going to be with you for 3 years? That's the question. I'm not the head coach. I'm aggressive. I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to bring any talent and all talent I can to compete this year, and I don't care if we got a bowl ban or not. I'm emptying the clip. That's my approach. So I believe the transfer portal, there's some huge value in the portal. In some cases, better than going out and getting high school players. So I'm saying, if the player's good enough, you think he can play at this level, AKA just listen to Rodney Garner. Hey, Rodney, what you think? We'll do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that is a great way to look at it.
Yeah, just listen to Rodney. WWRD. What would Rodney do? Just listen to him. He'll tell you what we need to do with defensive line. Just follow his instruction. If he's a good player, you think he can play at this level, then heck yeah, I would say explore that, opportunity. If you don't think he's a guy that can add value to the group, and all he would be is just a body, then you probably don't want to. But I always have my eyeball emojis ready to go when I see a transfer in the portal, a new one.
Yes. I have 2 late attaboys, if that's okay, since we did not have a heavy around the SEC.
Go for it.
I want to give one to Shohei Ohtani. I know he kind of flamed out in the home run derby last night. He did have an excellent back and forth with Juan Soto. That was fun. But the expectation was for him to put on a show all night long. Instead, that was Pete Alonso, who, congratulations to Pete Alonso. 2 home run derby appearances and 0 playoff game appearances.
Shea was coming. I knew it. Mets player can't enjoy his
and he's a former Gator.
Oh, good job, man. Screw him.
Yeah. Pete Alonso out there acting like he's freaking playing in Game 7 of the World Series. Bro, it's a home run derby. It's a home run derby. Let me know when you play in a playoff game, you stupid bum.
Dang, man.
But I'm giving an attaboy to Shohei Ohtani because he competed in the home run derby last night. And then tonight in the All-Star game, he is going to be the starting pitcher for the American League All-Star team. And he's going to hit. He's going to lead off.
Give the game what it wants.
Yes. He is the face of baseball, and there's no doubt about it. And it's great for baseball. The other attaboy that I have real quick.
I love it. Here, let me add one thing in here.
Yeah.
This is significant because unlike LeBron James, and LeBron hasn't been perfect, things that he said and done in his career, but he's done a lot and a whole lot more than most athletes with his level of cachet. He's impacted a lot of lives positively. But one of the biggest things I have against LeBron as a basketball player on the court is that he never gave us a dunk contest appearance. The greats like Michael Jordan, the Dominique Wilkins, they did that because they knew the game needed that. They knew the fans wanted that. And LeBron, you know, he plays his butt off. He plays a lot of minutes, and he gives the game a lot. He really does. And documentary with Jordan over the last summer, one of the things that you saw is that every night he wanted to give the fans what they paid for. And this is why guys like Kawhi Leonard today gets a side eye, because you get these guys who are low management and you go spend all this money to watch a player play and they sit in the game out healthy. So I'm giving a big shout out to Ohtani for giving the game what it needs, what it wants. You have an unbelievable talent. You're playing at a high level, and he's participating in all these all-star events because people want to see you. He's healthy. Pour back into the game. That's what I want to see. So that's why I want to add that in there on top of you giving him an attaboy for doing those things, because the NBA dunk contest is absolutely garbage. You got high flyers who are stars, and they don't want to do it. They used to be the Vince Carters, the Michael Jordans, the Isaiah Rodgers was in there, the guys that actually was the top players on their teams. Now you got bench warmers.
You never heard of.
Bench warmers you never heard of winning the dunk contest. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
If they was great dunkers, high flyers, why the hell are they not being starters? Why are they not playing more? So that's the biggest gripe I have with the NBA. All right, sorry, go for it.
No, that is a great point. And why the Home Run Derby is the best all-star festivity all year round, regardless of sport. My other attaboy goes to Chris Mutino. I know that you didn't watch the fights over the weekend. I'm assuming that you did not see the young man who faced Sugar Sean O'Malley and just got his head beat in repeatedly. I'm sure you saw people tweeting about it. There was a guy who just was taking it in his fight. Sugar Sean O'Malley, one of the best UFC fighters in the world, and was expected to win by knockout, and he did end up winning by knockout. It was the source of a lot of controversy, but this Chris Mutino guy, and those who watch will understand, because the dude literally just for 3 rounds just got his head beat in to the mat. And Sugar Sean O'Malley, again, one of the best fighters in the UFC, I believe the most accurate striker of all time, if not the most, the second most accurate. He landed an absurd 88% of his punches in this fight. And this dude, who was making his UFC debut, ate every single one of them. And every time he got punched, he'd step forward towards Sugar Sean O'Malley. He did not hide. He did not run. He was stepping towards him and just taking this beating the best way you could, to the point to where at the end of the fight, the storyline wasn't that Sugar Sean O'Malley won by knockout again. The story was this kid making his, and I don't want to call him a kid, but this guy making his UFC debut and just showing all the heart in the world and just showing how tough that he is. It was honestly admirable. I know that may sound silly to some, but he was getting beat down. And I'm giving him an attaboy because after this beating that he took on Saturday, and again, the knockout was the source of a lot of controversy because it came with 30 seconds left in the last round, and everybody thought that the ref, he didn't clearly get knocked out. He was kind of on the ground, and Sugar Sean O'Malley was punching him, and everybody felt like the ref should not have called it. Herb Dean should not have called it because he had kind of earned the ability to make it through the entire fight instead of the fight being declared a knockout. So after all of this, just a brave performance, I guess you could say, on Saturday, despite his defeat in his UFC debut. He showed up Monday morning to teach his class at the Hudson Combat Academy. They posted on Instagram if there was any question left about just how tough this guy is. He showed up early to coach his class first thing Monday morning. And, I mean, you can see in the photo, I mean, he is he looking rough.
He jacked up now.
Yeah, he is jacked up.
Looks like he got bit by 100, bees in the face.
Yes. I mean, he had it rough. But, I mean, you just Twitter search his name, and the first thing that comes up is UFC on BT Sport, whatever that is. It's got 230,000 followers, and it's a Chris Mutino appreciation post, and it has 2,000 retweets. Bleacher Report on Saturday night. Despite the loss, Chris Mutino gave it his all respect. And here's the other thing, and probably the most impressive thing. He took the fight like on 11 days' notice, fighting. Again, Sugar Sean O'Malley is one of the best UFC fighters, and this Chris Mutino guy took the fight on short notice when so many other in the business would not take the fight because they didn't want to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley, and this guy just steps up and just...
So he's fighting like Rocky.
Yeah, he did not shy away. It was awesome. Again, O'Malley knocked him out, technically, and that wasn't the storyline because O'Malley is like known for like first round knockouts, and I think his previous 9 fights had been knockouts. And then here comes this guy making his UFC debut. Pretty big size difference. Bright green hair that you used to see on Nickelodeon, the slime. That's what color hair that he has. Kind of no name guy comes out of nowhere and just, my gosh, just puts on.
Showed
an
heart.
Odd performance. Just showed a ton of heart, and it was fun to watch. He ended up being the story, but he took the fight on short notice and was working 80 hours a week in a paint factory just a month ago, and was on the main card of the McGregor Poirier trilogy. So I thought it was really cool that he showed up Monday morning bright and early to teach his class after taking the beating on Saturday night and gained a lot of respect from a lot of people.
No, that is cool, and it'll pay off for him. It'll pay off for him. All the sacrifices that he is making right now, the L's that he's going to take, it's going to pay off for him. And then later in his career, man, he's going to benefit from the hard times at the beginning. So that's a good attaboy, man. Sometimes, man, we get lost in who actually won the game, and we lose sight of guys showing heart and playing with the ultimate amount of guts, like a Giannis. They down 2-1, but man, Giannis it's been fun to watch because of the way he's played.
Gonna be 2-2 after tonight.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm all in on Giannis. I know you've got your big blue jersey on supporting Devin Booker, but I'm supporting the guy from Greece. Let's go, Giannis. I'm rooting for the guy who didn't have it made growing up, who isn't dating a Kardashian, who didn't go to Kentucky. I'm not rooting for that guy. I'm rooting for the guy who had to share,
which is probably worse.
Jenner, Kardashian, all the same to me. I'm rooting for the guy who had to share shoes with his brother just to play basketball. Couldn't play basketball at the same time with his brother because the family only had one pair of shoes to use. The guy who had to sell things on the street corner growing up because his family didn't have enough money, tried to support his family. I'm rooting for that guy. The guy who has a fun personality that gives it his all. The Greek freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's who I'm rooting for.
You finished or you done?
I'm done, son.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Monty Williams.
Oh, are you?
Head coach of the Suns. The greatest dudes in the NBA, one of the greatest people in the NBA, ultimate teacher. When he was an assistant with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he lost his wife in a car accident. It's rocked his world to the core. and had an absence from the game of basketball, returned, and now is the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, taking a team that was butt-booed terrible, that had multiple lottery picks in a short amount of time. He has a team in the NBA Finals. I'm rooting for Monty, as well as Chris Paul and Dev Bookers. But hey, man, if you want to pull the heartstrings line, you can do that. I can do that too. Hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam, where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
For what is coming up on the Swain Event.
Hey there, Swain Event listeners. I'm excited to share my new Keller Williams Realty app so you can tour homes without leaving yours. Not only can you search for homes in specific areas and neighborhoods, you can also have access to real-time market snapshots on stats like average home price and days on market, plus commute times from your office, school zones, and much more. Download my app today and get the most accurate information on buying, selling, and investing in real estate in your area. Just search for the Keller Williams Realty app and click on More in the lower right-hand corner. Type in Jennifer Morris in the Your Agent search bar, then save and you're set. And as always, feel free to reach out at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400.
There are articles and news stories that you read about the things that people do. And when you're reading those and you start to shake your head, you start to scratch your head a little bit, you get confused, you don't understand why, you start to ask questions. But really, there's only one question that matters. What is that question, you may ask?
For what?
All right, it's time for what here on the Swain Event. And yeah, I have one because I'm going to, oh boy, it's never a dull moment. It's time for what? I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to the Mid-State. No, I'm not going on a trip with Storm. I'm going to Nashville for this one. Taco Bell employee was arrested on Monday in Nashville after she and her co-workers allegedly set fireworks off inside the restaurant, causing the building to catch fire as they watched from afar and accidentally locked themselves out. The incident occurred July the 5th at one of the fast food chain's locations in Tennessee's capital city, but the investigation into how the blaze began took a turn on July the 8th when the restaurant's management called local fire investigators to report that surveillance cameras had captured the employees playing with fireworks inside of the establishment, according to a statement released by Nashville Fire Department on Monday. At one point in the video, the employees can be seen going into the men's bathroom where they are out of sight of the camera for a short period of time before returning to the lobby and placing an item into a trash can near the door, according to the fire department. Employees are seen using their cell phones to record the trash can from outside the restaurant. Employees then realized they locked themselves out of the restaurant. The employees tried to unsuccessfully get back into the store. When the employees saw the trash can start to smoke, they called 911 for help. The footage has not been released. The fire caused more than $30,000 of damage inside of the restaurant. Restaurant's shift leader, 25-year-old Courtney Mays, was taken into custody on Monday and charged with felony aggravated arson, and she's being held $5,000 bond in Davidson County Jail in Nashville. Whose daughter is this? Whose friend is this? Whose girlfriend is this? Whose niece is this? Huh? What, Courtney, what are you doing? You're 25-year-old. It's time to work. Not popping off fireworks at your job, inside of the building. And then you lock yourself out? Don't be stupid while being stupid. Courtney Mays gets the biggest for what today? Golly.
I thought you were going to put Team USA on for what today?
I'm gonna get to Storm because he's been waiting patiently.
We can just say that Team USA gets it for what?
They get it for what, too? They lost to Australia. The second loss in a row. Just
Ben Simmons wasn't even playing.
Embarrassing. Joe Ingles is their best player. Our best player is Kevin Durant. We can't even beat Australia. What a bunch of embarrassments. Embarrassing. 9-2 Dream Team would never. All right, let's get to Volstorm.
Can I leave the For What music playing during Volstorm's call?
No. Gotta turn it off, man. Volstorm, good morning, my friend.
Finally, Volstorm has returned to Nashville, boys.
Go talk some sense into your cousin, Courtney Mays.
I saw that on the news last night, and I just knew that was going to be on For What.
Golly.
And for a little bit of reference for all my folks back home in Knoxville, Nolensville Road is about the equivalent of Lower Broadway, so it doesn't surprise me.
Fireworks. Inside.
Yeah.
Inside.
I watched the news. They're talking about this. Said that they set off the fireworks inside. They had locked customers out from coming in before they set off the fireworks. Then they set off these fireworks, go outside to watch. Apparently it caught fire to a dumpster outside, and then realized they locked themselves out.
Dummies. Golly, man.
If you could look up the pictures of her, she's a piece of work, let me tell you.
I'm looking at her.
She looks like
not.
Bam.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Everybody go look it up for themselves. They'll figure it out.
She's like who?
Like a Bama.
Yeah, that's why I stopped you.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped you.
That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
That's about right.
That's why I stopped you.
She's one of those people that wear a Vanderbilt T-shirt because she's from Nashville.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Taco Bell. Shooting off
the way you're promoting Nashville, I assume that you'd have a Vanderbilt jersey on this morning.
I'm promoting the fact that I'm in Nashville.
But nobody gives a damn.
If you could see the smiles that I've put on the Yankee women that are in this town, they haven't seen a real Southern man in a year and a half.
That's just not true. They see you, and it's not hide your kids, hide your wife. It's hide everybody.
Yeah, it is. All them Yankee women ain't see a real man in a year and a half.
I agree, man. I agree with that, Volstorm. You the man.
Debatable.
Guys, I think Heupel ought to treat the defensive lineman room like he does the quarterback room. The more, the merrier.
Heck yeah, man.
I don't care if we we bring in like 20 of them and 10 of them transfer out. Bring them all in.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Make him call the city because you're over here breaking code because there's too many people in one building or one room. I want 83 defensive linemen in the meeting room.
Bring them all. We'll take all the defensive players, but we're gonna especially look at the defensive linemen.
Bring them all in. I'm with you.
Guys, why are we still talking to recruits?
Who?
That's my job.
You mean the staff?
Why? No. I'm not talking about consummate professionals like Ben McKee sitting next to you.
Hey,
I'm talking about
a compliment.
Regular fans. Why are you still talking to recruits? You're not a coach. You're not with VolQuest. Stop it. Don't do it on Twitter. Don't do it on live stream. Don't do it on Instagram. Just don't do it.
It's just weird, man. It's just really weird. It's really weird.
Especially if you're posting workout videos. Hey, guys, before I go, I really think that you missed out on the opportunity for a great for what. Or maybe it's an attaboy. Maybe what it really is an attaboy. An attaboy to the University of South Carolina for putting up a uniform pick that really lives up to their nickname.
Rodney in Austell says that he's been saying WWRD his whole life.
What would Ronald do?
What would Rodney do? Rodney in Austell. Rodney says Kevin Durant cut his hair and lost all of his superpowers.
KD go bald now?
He might as well.
Well, that's the only way he could cut his hair, right? He's been.
He got a little patch in the back. He's starting to ball, man. He's starting to ball. 865-255-03. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. At the bottom of the hour, 9:30, we'll talk to John Brice of footballscoop.com.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
It's a new season, which means it's time to rep your team in new ways with gear from Game Time Sidekicks. Rep the Vols with every sip with a new tie-dye tumbler or bottle. They also have a new NFL Players Association product line, so you can support your favorite VFL on Sundays. Want to put your own flair on a tumbler? Game Time Sidekicks has you covered with options to add your own text or even a monogram on the back of your favorite team tumbler. To check out everything that Game Time Sidekicks has to offer, go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Carry your team with Game Time Sidekicks.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses. If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. irisnetworksusa.com.
Fireworks inside a restaurant. The employees go outside to see it and lock themselves out. I was telling Ben during the break, I had two teammates that got a hold of a firecracker that could be set off underwater. And of all the places to go test out this firecracker, I mean, it's a freaking river, walking distance from Gibbs Hall. The stadium is on the river. You can literally walk down from Gibbs down Lake Loudon and go straight to the water. Test it out if you want to. I had two teammates who were roommates who said, no, this is my freshman year because I lived in Gibbs. No, let's not do that. Let's put it in the toilet and see what happens. So they lit it, put it in the toilet. Boom. Toilet done. So both players were responsible for replacing the toilet, which I think was like a super, super expensive toilet. It came out of their scholarship check. But these are things that head coaches got to deal with. These are the things that head coaches have to deal with.
Not as funny as Coach Fulmer having to come back from vacation, but still pretty funny.
That was funny, too. He was mad. Because this is a time where coaches, like, really take time off. This is the time when coaches really take time off. And to have to come back from a vacation where you barely get time off anyways as a college coach, ooh, Coach Fulmer was red hot. My favorite is when he called players dumb A's when they used to get in trouble in team meetings. 99% of y'all doing the right thing. And dummy over here decided to do this, messing it up for everybody. And I try not to laugh, but I used to laugh. It's hard not to laugh. He was hot. Boy, he was hot as fish grease. And those were the times. But that's something that, that's what boys do. They do stuff like that, man, putting fireworks inside toilets and see if it's going to work, I guess. I guess that's what they do. All right, let me hit up the text box. Shut up, DR Vol. Swain, South Carolina fans are coming at you on Twitter. Really? Let me see.
He's joking because of the joke about that photo.
No, I ain't seen any South Carolina fans. Just wanted to make sure. CJ Vol says I've been saying this regiment is going to be different. This regime is going to be different from the last three. When you have been a Tennessee fan 35 years, you just get a feeling that it's right this go around. GBO. Man, I hope. CJ Vol says, when we land Branson Robertson, the Nega Vols will go into permanent hiding. I don't know about all that. They'll be happy. We'll be happy. And Negative Vols won't be able to say anything for that day, but there's always tomorrow. There's always the next day.
Always somebody.
But, man, you got to beat out Alabama and Georgia to do that. You might have to guarantee him a starting job to do that. Beat Alabama and Georgia. Without the guarantee him a starting job. You got to do it without doing it. Yeah, QC Rodney. Samson Durant. Yeah, Durant got his hair texture is like Samson, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. DR Vol lost in a tournament. Barnes and Durant reunited. What's wrong with you, DR Vol? What's wrong with you? So witty. The jokes are so good.
Debatable.
Vol fan says the biggest thing I can't stand about LeBron is he whines nonstop for the entire game. It's almost like watching Will Wade on the sidelines of a game. I can't stand whiners. Yeah, that's the worst thing about basketball. NBA basketball is the complaining of foul calls. Like I watch Jay Crowder. I think he was guarding Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton had the ball, and he put the ball from his left chin and swept it to his right chin, and Jay Crowder slapped his wrist. It was obvious. It was a foul. And, man, the reaction from Jay Crowder, you thought that, he was blamed for something that he wasn't even in the same city as the person who committed the foul. His reaction made me think he didn't foul anybody. And then they went to go replay. It's like, dude, you hit him. You hit his whole arm. You didn't even touch the ball. That's the part of NBA basketball that drives me crazy. Every call you complain. Everyone. Like the refs they are what they are, but they get some of them right. Do we see that the Smokies announced that they're doing a Tony Vitello bobblehead night September the 10th? I see it.
Well, that's the Friday before the Pittsburgh game. Probably smart to do it that night. Everybody coming in town. Good luck getting a Tony Vitello bobblehead. That line to get in is going to be long.
Negotiations are at standstill. Randy Boy was like, all right, I got it. I know, I got it. How about we make Friday night bobblehead night with your head, Tony Vitello, at the Smokies game? How about now? Deal. Let's go. Let's sign the papers. This is going to be what signs the deal, Bill. This is it right here, man. Not the salary, not the assistant coach's salary, not the stadium renovations, none of that. This is what's going to seal the deal, man.
Is that so?
Tony Vitello getting his own bobblehead for special Tennessee Smokies game night. That's going to seal the deal over the top right there. That's the deal maker. That's it. That's it. Randy Boy getting it done. Question is, Ben, you gonna get your Vitello bobblehead?
I'm going to try. I wish this would have happened when I worked for the Smokies for 2 summers in a row.
You should be able to get one. Easy then, since you know.
Well, they don't care about me anymore.
Since you have a plaque on the wall for best employee ever.
Best intern ever.
Wait, they gave you some money.
Underappreciated intern ever.
They gave you some money.
Oops, did I say that?
You got a little bit of money. Best employee ever. Smokies history, you get a Tony Vitello signed bobblehead.
I should get it signed.
That's right.
Which, speaking of Tony Vitello, gonna try to get him on tomorrow to talk about the MLB draft.
Let's go.
So hopefully that will take place. But in the meantime, John Brice is coming up in approximately 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
So let's do it, man. Let's talk to John Brice. Got a lot of football stuff to get to, a lot of Tennessee athletics to cover. We'll do that coming up next here on the Swain Event. John Brice, footballscoop.com, will join us next.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
It's a new season, which means it's time to rep your team in new ways with gear from Game Time Sidekicks. Rep the Vols with every sip with a new tie-dye tumbler or bottle. They also have a new NFL Players Association product line, so you can support your favorite VFL on Sundays. Want to put your own flair on a tumbler? Game Time Sidekicks has you covered with options to add your own text or even a monogram on the back of your favorite team tumbler. To check out everything that Game Time Sidekicks has to offer, go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Carry your team with Game Time Sidekicks.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain Event, swainevent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. And as promised, the great John Brice is joining us on a Tuesday. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue via the Iris Networks hotline. Brice, good morning.
Good morning, Jason. Great to be with you and Ben, and hope you guys are having a great summer as it slips closer and closer to college football season.
You ready? You ready, Brice?
I am ready. I'm excited. Looking forward to the media days that get rolling next week. I think that will really ratchet up excitement for everyone. I know that Vols fans are probably very cautiously approaching the season, but it's still an exciting time and a lot of crazy new developments in the world of college athletics, and just a really interesting time.
No, you're right, man. I think Tennessee fans, they're watching Heupel. They're watching what's going on with this program. Tennessee this month has gotten a few commitments. Some momentum is starting to be seen and be noticed, but at the same time, we've done this before, right? We've seen previous coaches, build momentum during this summer, create some excitement only to be let down. So no fault of Heupel's. He's doing a great job. I think fans are just kind of, like you just said, just cautiously just waiting for football season. Don't want to get, too far over their skis a little too much, and waiting to see kind of what happens. I think one thing that is noticeable is it seems like the culture is changing. It seems like the staff is working well together so far. They haven't played a game yet, so we'll see what happens when the bullets fly. But We're here in Knoxville. We see it. What's your view of Tennessee football program from your view and the people that you are talking to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jason. I appreciate you asking it. I've spoken with family members of current Vols players, quite honestly, within the past week. I've spoken with people on campus within the past week to the past 72 hours or so, and I think you are very insightful with your comment on the culture. I think it's a very much healthier culture than what it's been in quite some time, just to be very candid. And I think that to their credit, Josh Heupel and company, he's got a strong support staff that he surrounded himself with and deserves a lot of credit for that. I think those people have identified the need for cultural improvement within that program, for a true familial bond within that program, and I think we're seeing that. Yeah, I'm seeing it from afar, but I also obviously still talk to people directly in the program and connected to the program, and that's the overwhelming feedback that I get. And I think, quite frankly, the addition of Joe Milton has been a very, very good one this summer, and has been somebody who already has emerged as a leader and who has emerged as a very charismatic person and key figure in that program.
What happened with Joe Milton at Michigan? Because I think, sometimes you can look at a player's time at a previous school and anything can go wrong. We've seen players transfer out of here and go on to be, great players at other schools. We've experienced Alvin Kamara, who was a great player here, even though he was underutilized, but didn't have the best start at Alabama. Joe Milton was a starter for Michigan to start out the season, and he's here. What happened from your point of view? I know you have some ties in the Big Ten, do some great work there now in the Big Ten. Just what happened with Joe Milton in Michigan?
I think that probably Joe Milton had some growing pains that Michigan and Jim Harbaugh didn't feel necessarily they could afford to endure because of the pressure that Harbaugh kind of has fostered for himself, and because that program, much like Tennessee, has slipped quite a bit in the couple of decades since it last won a national championship. Probably hasn't slipped as far as Tennessee right now, but still feels the pain and has the countdown timer on the number of years it's been since they beat Ohio State, much the way Tennessee fans are reminded how long it's been since they beat Alabama. And so I think that's part of it, but also I'm not absolving Michigan or pointing the finger at Milton in any way whatsoever. Study how many different quarterbacks coaches that Milton had just in a short amount of time at the University of Michigan. Study how much their offense has turned over from a staff standpoint in recent years, how disjointed it's been. And the fact of the matter is, it's been such an overhaul at Michigan on both sides of the ball, but most noticeably offensively, that Harbaugh himself is now basically taken over sole proprietorship of coaching the quarterbacks. And I think anytime you have a head coach trying to coach a specific position, and that's very much the case in Ann Arbor, that's not an ideal recipe. So there was a ton of coaching turnover that did not give Joe Milton the best chance for success. He's got a fresh start at the University of Tennessee, and he's got primarily three guys that are real assets for him at the position in head coach Josh Heupel, as well as Alex Golish and Joy Halsey. Maybe I'm pronouncing that last name a little bit incorrectly, but I think he's going to be a really rising star commodity in the world of college athletics college football coaching. So I think that Milton now has three really good people around him.
Brice, you obviously know Tennessee very well and know the resources that Tennessee has at its disposal in regards to the NIL. When you look at other schools across the country, just how big of an impact can Tennessee have with the NIL in terms of how much can it separate itself from others? Because I do look at the resources that a place like the University of Tennessee has and all the alumni, and just think that there's no way that they can't be one of the trendsetters or the schools that take most advantage of the NIL. So just kind of when you compare it to other schools across the country, where do you think Tennessee falls?
Well, I would start in the immediate circle first of the SEC and point out that Knoxville's one of the larger SEC markets, and would say immediately that's a chance for the University of Tennessee to help some of its current players strike some deals in a variety of sports, not just football, but obviously football is the most visible, but help some of its current players strike some deals or encourage them to strike those deals that get the notice of recruits and get the attention, because it could potentially be a much faster avenue back, and now a wholly legal avenue back for Tennessee to be much more competitive sooner rather than later. And I think, again, Josh Heupel, Scott Altizer, Brandon Lawson, those are a bunch of the names that I've heard in talking with NIL experts that have a great vision for Tennessee and Tennessee football in order to be relevant in that regard. So when I look at the SEC and start focusing outward, I see a very good opportunity for Tennessee to be a major player in that regard from an NIL deal standpoint. I think we're already seeing Fulkerson get some deals on Cameo. We're seeing, I think Bayless Jones has already struck a deal. Some other guys will have some opportunities. I think you'll see some immediacy opportunities once the season gets going, especially if a guy has a really strong breakout performance on a Saturday. Let's say Tennessee has Joe Milton post some sort of ridiculous performance and they beat Pitt early in the season. I mean, you guys work so closely with George there at dead end. You think he's not smart enough to want to throw some bucks at Joe Milton and have a Tennessee night out at dead end? I think you'll see some deals like that from an immediacy standpoint, that because Knoxville is a larger market, Tennessee will have a chance to tap into some of that. As you grow wider in scope across the nation, you know, you've got Southern Cal, that I think California legislation allows the University of Southern Cal and its athletics officials to be more directly involved. Tennessee officials cannot set up deals for its players, for their players, but I do think Tennessee football particularly is trying to take a very proactive approach. You're talking about Ohio State and Texas. Those are a couple of large market schools that also have two of the largest alumni bases anywhere in the world. So I think that helps a couple of programs like that. But again, Tennessee does have some unique opportunities for itself that can be, in my opinion, a very good benefiting factor for them to get back competitively sooner rather than later.
John Brice, footballscoop.com here. Brice, you brought up something really, really interesting, and that is, you know, the difference between, you know, schools in California versus the schools in Tennessee. And if you are Tennessee right now, if you have ever tried to make a Tennessee T-shirt, if you've ever tried to sell any type of Tennessee stuff, you know, on the side, and you slip up and put Vols on it or you put Power T on it, Brice, you know this, you're going to get a phone call. You are getting a phone call from the university, and the university has many lawyers that try to make sure that their brand is protected, the Power T is protected. But if you are a student athlete with the NIL and you go out and you're using the school logo, in most cases before the NIL, they discourage that. Now, if you are a school, maybe you relax some of those rules because you want to help your student athlete be able to make some money, but also you want to protect your brand. But we know they're getting those deals because of the brand that they built at that school. So how do you see schools kind of maybe loosening their stance a little bit about using some of the logos, you know, wearing the school colors, wearing some of the merchandise when they're out, possibly signing autographs somewhere?
Yeah, well, first of all, if somebody gets hired to do a promotional autograph signing or appearance, I would think that the University of Tennessee would have a hard time in dictating what he or she could not wear to that event. Now, the university could still dictate that they couldn't appear in promotional materials for the event wearing the Power T logo necessarily, and I don't think we'll see a lot of deviation from that. I don't think you'll see many schools wanting their athletes to appear in promotional materials wearing that school's trademarked logo. However, I think we've probably already seen a T-shirt from a company there in Knoxville targeted towards a couple of Tennessee's homegrown offensive linemen, very much using the likeness of those players in their uniform, but there's no trademarked material on that shirt. There's not a Power T on those pants or on that football helmet or anything like that. But you've got the University of Arkansas that doesn't want its athletes even appearing in school colors. I think you've got the University of Georgia that's very much debating whether or not it even wants its athletes in its school colors, while you've got some people at the University of Georgia saying, you know what, we've been partners with Delta Airlines for a long time, but if somebody wants to go partner with Allegiant Air or whatever, Spirit, anybody, if they have that opportunity, we're not going to stand in the way of that. So let's just say JT Daniels has a high-flying, high-passing game early in the season, and somebody wants to do, fly the air with JT Daniels and whatever airline. It'd be a curious situation to see if Georgia would then try to stand in the way or not stand in the way. So I think a lot of schools are still very much figuring it out. I think a lot of schools, I know the side that coaches come down on, and that is they truly want their players to have every opportunity that they can get. I've not had a coach tell me otherwise. They don't want it to be a distraction, especially during the season, but they want their players to get every opportunity that they can get. I think Josh Heupel falls in that category, and I think right now it's a lot different. It would be a lot different right now for a business to tell a current player at the University of Tennessee no versus, the University of Tennessee telling a player no versus the University of Tennessee telling a business no. It's different when you factor in that human element, and it's somebody you see on your campus basically every day.
Brice, do you have an update on where Tennessee is at with the NCAA investigation and what's to come in that regard over the next couple of weeks?
A little bit there. A couple of interesting notes. I've been told by multiple people that Tennessee has perhaps softened its stance and has at least tested the waters on potentially trying to settle in some capacity with Jeremy Pruitt in order to just fully close the book on that chapter as quickly as possible and to help streamline the NCAA situation as much as possible. So I would say that's probably the most noteworthy. I would also point out, I don't know how much this has been covered, but I'd also point out that now Tennessee has completely turned over the top of its compliance department. Andrew Donovan's last day at the University of Tennessee as its senior athletics director and head of compliance was this past Friday. He's no longer at the University of Tennessee. They've mutually separated, so that means Andrew Donovan and Adam Tate are gone from the University of Tennessee. They were both very much key in that internal process and in the interviews and in the ongoing resolution of that process. They were two very central figures, so I think that those are the two most interesting developments in that regard.
Brice, give us your take on the trio of leadership here at Tennessee with Randy Boyd, Chancellor Plowman, and now Danny White being added to the group. Danny White has been, he's entered the job, having to hire a football coach, and now he is trying to negotiate a contract to make sure that Tony Vitello is here for a very long time and gets what he needs, and the baseball program finally does what they have been putting off for a very, very long time, over a decade, maybe even two. Kind of give us your take on this trio so far as they've been together here at Tennessee.
I think Randy Boyd of the three best understands the lay of the land and the state of Tennessee as a whole, and that's how it should be. He's the one who's been here the longest. He has great connections. I would say it's a little bit of a weird situation with him being so integrally involved with the new downtown Knoxville Stadium and that development plan. He has owned or does own a tremendous amount of the property in and around that location. But Randy Boyd has a lot of allies throughout the state of Tennessee, and again, knows what's good for Tennessee. He was very key in helping Tennessee retain Rick Barnes a couple of years ago when UCLA came knocking. I would say he was probably at the absolute forefront of demanding that Tennessee get a deal done to retain Rick Barnes. So I think Randy Boyd carried a lot of equity with his actions during that time. Chancellor Plowman has done a nice job of engaging students. I know she loved the opportunity to have graduation this past spring in Neyland Stadium. I'm told that's something you can look for continuing in the future.
Awesome.
And then Danny White deserves credit for accepting the job in the first place when it was not a very attractive job, and has done some really good things and has also ruffled some feathers and is continuing to learn a little bit on the job. He's been in big markets like Buffalo and Orlando, but he hasn't been in a market like Knoxville or with a fan base like the University of Tennessee. And the University of Tennessee is a phenomenal fan base with great passions, positive and negative, and that goes with the territory, and it's understandable for all that fan base has endured. I think Danny White will get a very good deal done with Tony Vitello, but they've been in a bit of a Mexican standoff in negotiations, I think, and it's not all about salary. It's also about facilities improvements and, frankly, facility commitments in terms of where Tennessee plays a lot of its baseball games in the future. And I think Tony Vitello, especially with the great support of the fans down the stretch in this postseason, saw how special Lindsey Nelson can be and wants to enhance that as much as possible.
Brice, just in terms of actual football this fall, what do you think would be a good first year for Josh Heupel? Not necessarily in terms of record, but what do you think fans need to see to make them feel more comfortable about Josh Heupel?
Well, I think fans need to see a energetic, well-coached team that looks like it wants to be there, that looks happy to be out there, or excited to be out there, I should say, and does not look like it gives up on plays or gives up on games, and a team that, again, looks well-coached and looks like it knows what it's doing on both sides of the ball. Then I think that Josh Heupel, because of his reputation and because of the putrid offensive play that we saw a lot in the last few years, has to show some offensive fireworks. If he has a 500 season or something along those lines, but you have some games in there where the offense really puts up some points and loses in some shootouts, I think that's a very acceptable first step for where the program is, where the roster is, and what lies in front of Josh Heupel and his entire staff.
Brice, last question, man, I want to touch on before we get you out of here, man. Just thank you so much for joining us. What's the hot topic for you, man? You are a writer that loves telling great stories and not necessarily likes writing about the negativity, but likes to highlight the positive, good stories and athletes and in athletics. What's something that you're looking at right now, or something that you're working on, that we can look forward to kind of seeing your next big story?
I appreciate you asking me that, Jason. Right now, currently pinned to my profile is the story I wrote just a few weeks ago about Josh Ergel, who's offensive football assistant coach at the University of Memphis. But before that, he was the offensive coordinator at Kansas. He's been an interim head coach at Austin Peay. He and his wife have a great story, a great journey through their daughter, Landry, and they've launched an organization called River of Hope because, as they explained to me, the meaning of the name Landry is river, and her middle name is Hope. And at the time of her diagnosis, she was one of only 4 children on the earth to have been diagnosed with this very rare and potentially fatal protein disorder. And they have taken their unbelievably painful journey and turned it into a positive for others. And there's been a lot of negative and understandably negative press about the University of Kansas football program in the last several months, but the Ergel family contributed a huge positive in that regard. Even during the pandemic, they were working with Ronald McDonald House in Kansas City and really doing some worthwhile work for young people and families who face not the same disorder, but who face terminal illnesses or cancer in children, and did everything to raise funds to help pay those bills, but also to give those parents and those families some sense of normalcy. You had players going on Zoom and watching Disney movies and doing Disney activities with these kids who are stuck in a children's hospital or stuck living in a Ronald McDonald house. So that's pinned to my Twitter profile right now. That's one of the most enjoyable stories, frankly, that I've done in the last several years. I got to visit last month with Mike Loxley, the head coach at the University of Maryland, and talk with him about their new facility, which is named after the two trailblazers, the first black basketball and black football players at the University of Maryland. It's an incredible new facility, but also to talk to Coach Loxley and hear him talk about the importance of that facility, not only here in the here and now, but for young people to see that there are people who want to invest in them and give them the best around. So beyond that, I've got some other stuff that I'm working on. Two of the youngest, most high-profile, kind of up-and-coming offensive coordinators in college football are here in the Hoosier State at the University of Indiana with Nick Sheridan, former Vols assistant, and also at Notre Dame with Tommy Rees. So I'm hoping to put together a story on those two guys as kind of you think basketball when you think about the Hoosier State a lot of times, but two of the really bright young offensive minds in college football are right here in Indiana.
The man. Hey, Brice. That's why, man, we're so happy that you are there at Football Scoop, man, to be able to touch, different areas of the country and share these stories. Because, if we had you all to ourselves here in Knoxville, man, you wouldn't be able to share these stories and conduct these interviews with these different coaches and putting these stories together. So, man, I know this is exactly what you wanted to do, man, is share the stories of good people doing good things around college football around the country. And I'm just so glad that you're there at Football School being able to do it, man. This is a great story here. I'm going to check it out after the show for sure. But I thank you so much for your time, man. And don't worry, Brice. I don't think people noticed that you didn't mention any other quarterback for Tennessee playing this year besides Joe Milton.
Well, we all have our opinions, but I think that it's definitely Joe Milton's job to take and run with. And Jason, I always appreciate the chance to visit with you guys. Congratulations on some great things that you've had going personally. And Ben, I haven't gotten to visit with you since you also added VolQuest to your repertoire. That's some great people over there. I'm really excited for both of you guys and love every opportunity to visit with you all and appreciate not only your support, but first and foremost, your friendship.
All day, Brice.
Appreciate that.
All day. Well, tell beautiful wife I said, hey, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, real quickly, I will. When Jess was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready to do radio with Swain. And she goes, oh, Swain. Tell him I said hello. So you did already get a shout-out from Mrs. Brice. And one quick story plug, I'm sitting down later this week with Notre Dame Athletics Director Jack Swarbrick and really looking forward to picking his mind about more in depth about the potential for a 12-team college football playoff.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one, man. I'm looking forward to it. It.
Take care, boys.
All right, man. You too. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. John Brice's time here on the Swain Event. He was on that Irish Networks hotline over there, and man, just always great to catch up with Brice, man. He's doing some great stuff at Football Scoop. So. One thing you can say, he still has a pulse on what's going on in Tennessee Athletics. A lot of things that we've said in the last couple of weeks, Brice said here on the program. And Brice and I haven't talked in depth on the phone about some of the things that he knows and some of the things I know. But, we'll text from time to time because he's super busy. But we'll see what old Joe Milton, if he can come out and lead an explosive offense.
What do you know?
See.
Time to go.
We shall see. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. For Ben McKee of Jason Swain, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for making the Swain Event part of your morning. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Peace and love. We are out.